Hey everyone, welcome to the lower body portion of my dumbbell only video. All right, so we're gonna start with a nice get of room. We're gonna go into lunges first. For every movement, you're gonna do 3 sets or do the movement 3 times for 12 reps. Or every time you do the lunge, you'll do 12, in this case on each leg. Take 30 to 60 second rest, do it again, 12 reps, 30 to second rest, and then do it one more time. So that would be 3 sets, and then you move on to the next exercise. So with the lunge, it's all about your plant. Notice I took my time to take a big step forwards. I am double shoulder width distance, but a single shoulder width wide. You can see that angle a little bit better. If your feet are too stacked, you will fall. So it's about adjusting. Notice I adjusted before I go down. You want to keep your body engaged, your head up. Not necessarily, you can look at your knees and stuff, but don't lean into it too much. From here, you'll let your back knee drop to the floor, allowing the front to follow through. You know that if you're going too far and your knee is too far over your toes, you need to put your leg a little farther out. And if you go down and you see a little triangle in between your legs, same story, that's another indicator that you need to put your leg a little farther. Now, if it's too far and you see a rhomboid in that square instead of the square in between the two legs, then you definitely know you need to change it up. So it's all about planning it, feel your back knee bend, and follow through. The next is a squat. In this case, it is a normal squat. In this case, I do a double-handed one. You can also do a single side, and you'll see that in just a second. You're sticking your butt out while your knees bend. You never want to let those knees go over your toes. You want to keep your head up and your core engaged, allowing your knees to stay forwards. Notice they don't go wide, they don't come in. I keep them shoulder width distance. So you should see shoulder, hip, knee, toe, all the way down, nice line. Don't let that waver. Exhale, push from your heels, not your toes. Sitting nice and low, I want you to focus on depth. Alrighty, and again, if you noticed I was doing that single side, there was 1 weight instead of 2. The next we're going to do is a standing calf press. So this one is a lot about balance and coordination, so if you need to do it near the wall, that's fine. Go ahead and standing, holding with both weights in each hand. You're going to push up on the toes, squeezing the calves, pausing at the top, and then slowly returning until your heels fully touch the ground. Now, if you want and you have some kind of block, you can always put your toes up so that your heels come to a negative angle, and that'll give you a little bit more in the front of the calf as well. It is all about control. So if you're doing this and you can't find your balance, just put the weight down and do 15 to 30 reps of body weight instead. Moving along, we're going to a lateral leg raise. So you can do this body weight again if it's too hard. And once again, you can always just add a few more reps. Or you can do the weighted version like I'm doing here. And that's where you lay as lateral as you can. And you put the weight so your body is stacked on top of the leg. Now, the farther it is to the knee, the harder it is. The higher up the hip, the easier you make it. So you can adjust appropriately depending on how hard you want that level. From here, you drive your heel or your leg all the way straight and out to the ceiling, squeezing the glutes and holding it at the top. And then slowly returning it. This one is not going to be fast. You want to do this even slower than some of the other ones, as slow and controlled as possible. Remember, all these moves need to be controlled. Focusing on your breathing. You want to try to exhale on the way up and inhale on the way down. Now notice again how stacked my body it is. I'm not leaning too far forwards, too far backwards. You want to be as lateral as you can to the floor. Once again, slow and controlled, squeezing the glute at the top and a slow drop at the bottom. See how I adjust the weight down further? I want it to be a little bit harder. So if you want to make it easier, you go the opposite way. Nice and controlled. Again, we're doing 3 sets of 12. So you do 12 reps, count 30 to 60 second rest, do 12 reps, 30 to 60 second rest, and 12 reps. And then you can take about a minute between your next workout. Alrighty guys, so the next one is going to be a sumo deadlift. So like a normal deadlift, you're going to hold it in front of you and down to the middle, but this time you're going to open your legs wide. Notice my knees go out, but they're still not over my toes, but they're in line to where my leg is. I'm dropping it low, keeping the weights as close to my body as possible, keeping my head up and my core engaged. Sitting deep into the chair, you drive your hips forward, squeezing from the glutes, and exhaling as you press. Here's a better angle of this one. Once again, nice and wide. You want your stance double shoulder width. Keeping your head up, exhaling as you drive it, and your arms stay straight. Do not bend those weights in your arms. You want to use only your legs. Now, another easier version of this, if you're having problems with it going too far forwards with your chest, is just putting it on the top of the hips in this case. Notice, once again, stance is still wide, and I'm resting on top of my legs. And that way you ensure you're not necessarily using your arms for this equation. Moving along. The very last one is the always favored wall sit, but this time we're going to do the weighted wall sit. So bring it down so you see a nice 90-degree angle right there. Once again, you want to see that inline stability. So shoulder, hip, knee, toe, all the way down. There should be 2 lines. Don't let the legs go too far out. Don't let the legs come too far inwards. And you want to hold it. Now, if you're losing it, you can always just put one weight down. Or if you're losing that, you can drop that and you can bring it down. Now, in this case, because we're not moving and it's an isometric, we want to go for time. Each one of these should be 1 minute long. And again, if you can't do the whole minute with a weight, just drop the weight and keep going. And if you can't do it, stop and go from the time to try to finish out that minute. Now, again, if you're pushing through and it's heavy and you're about to struggle, you don't necessarily have to stop and push yourself off. Just sink to the ground, readjust, and go from there. Hope you enjoyed the leg day, guys. 3 sets of 12, 30 seconds to a minute resting.